Alrighty, this is Walnut Mountain Shelter. Gavin stayed here and I stayed back up on the ridge line. I think I did a video last night before we went to bed. We're getting ready to head out. Our goal is trying to get 13.1 and get indoors tonight. That's what we're going to shoot for. And I think mostly our trip is downhill today. We'll see what happens. I think we have just one or two climbs that were kind of like the one at the end of the day yesterday, which wasn't a tough climb. It just was not something that we wanted to do at the end of our day yesterday. So anyway, nice little valley area down through here. It drops off really sharply down there. And our trail is going to go out this way here just in a few minutes. And we'll see you in talk to you a little bit. Well, our hike has taken us up this morning, a little bit anyway. I think we're about to maybe peak out. I'm going to sit over here on this rock and wait on Gavin, but really beautiful day for hiking today. We'll step off for a few minutes. Got a few folks behind us, behind me and ahead of Gavin. So we'll let them pass and get back on the trail. Well, still working on our little uphill. We had about, I guess about 3 miles, which was more uphill than I promised Gavin, but I do think once we get that out of the way, and we're probably within a half mile of doing it, it'll be smooth sailing the rest of the way down the trail. But I wanted to stop and show you this little area right here. This would be a gorgeous camping spot. Not much in the way of water, although there was a stream a little ways back. Pretty rocks up there, but nice and open. There's a campfire ring right there. Somebody definitely has camped here before because it's just such a nice place. Good leaves on the ground to pad your tent bottom a little bit, but we're moving on. We're going to see if we can't make it into town today. Well, a lot of times when you get to a place where you see the trail going up through the woods and you see daylight on the other side, that means you have reached the top. And I hope that's the case for us today. For a long day, like we're trying to do today, 13 plus, it would be awfully nice to not have as many uphills. Well, those rocks are beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. We got a tree coming out of this one over here. And yeah, I do believe this might be the peak of a mountain that we were trying to climb, and I don't remember the name of it. I should. I got to start looking that up because I've had several folks to say, hey, what mountains are y'all on? But anyway, we'll pause right here and maybe eat a bite and then start our descent into Hot Springs. Well, we are leaving the top. We had lunch up there by those rocks. And oddly enough, the guidebook said no views, but I think the top of this mountain is view enough. But even looking off the side, we've still got a little bit of a view out here. And I think that's great. I think that's good enough. It was a great place to sit and eat. Wasn't very cold, the wind wasn't blowing. Didn't even put on my rain jacket, so very comfortable. And now we've got a good long downhill, 4 miles or a little bit better. And then after that, we've got a little up and down, and we should be in Hot Springs. So that's what we're looking for tonight, is being indoors at Hot Springs. He's coming back this way, but there was a hawk that just flew over. I saw the shadows on the ground. I think he's going yonder way. This is where we've come from. I wonder what that shiny is up there. Surely that's not a campsite. I don't know, we'll see. Well, actually, I'm not going back up there. Gavin's coming down. And our hike this day has been beautiful. This is just a really open forest because the leaves haven't come out yet. And it is absolutely gorgeous. We've been coming downhill for a little ways and will be for a while. We've got the ridge over here beside of us. Nothing phenomenal for a view, but I think this forest is view enough. All these trees, mixtures of some that have not made it or have lived their lives and are done, and then others that are coming along new. It's really kind of cool. And we're just kind of meandering down through the valleys, headed towards Hot Springs. Done one of these in a while. I don't know, maybe I did one yesterday. I don't remember. Haven't done one today. So a couple of thoughts on my mind today. Number one of these days we'll get faster on the uphills. We started out uphill today. We ended up uphill yesterday, and boy, it was slow. I strode out as far as I could. I'm still following the advice of not going any faster than I can without stopping, and working on trying to teach Gavin that as well. And I think he may be just a little too impatient to slow himself down to a heel toe pace, but he's still keeping up with me mostly. I stop every now and again, and he's usually not more than a few hundred yards behind, and that's pretty cool. He enjoys, I think, being by himself, and he's listening to music and podcasts and things such as that. You're probably getting no views at all because I'm shooting back into the sun. Oh well, you can listen. Another thing I appreciate, yesterday I did a little bit of a call out to all the folks who have helped us out, and one that I want to say a special thanks to is my really good friend who's been telling me for years that I need to get Spotify for my family because it's not very expensive. You can download music and listen to it offline. And when we were in Gatlinburg and I had good Wi-Fi, I did just that. And I found a playlist that I listened to yesterday. I think there's 180 songs in it. I don't think I heard one twice. I've been listening to it today and I'm still not sure it's repeated itself. Good classic rock. We got some Motown. I'm going to get some other stuff when we get into Hot Springs. But that's something I should have done a while back. Gavin's got it. He can get his music, which is not the same as my music by any stretch. And I don't know whether Beth and Griffin have started using it yet or not, but I think that they can use it on the Echo Dots. And I know that they can use it on their devices if they choose to. So anyway, it was a good purchase. We may cancel it after the trail, I don't know, but for right now I'm loving it. I didn't really figure I would be hiking with earphones in. I didn't for the first couple or 3 weeks, but having a little bit of a jam behind you helps move you up the hills. I keep it kind of low so I can still sort of hear what's going on around me, and it's been a big motivator. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and hang up here and keep on getting it down the trail, and we'll talk to you in a little bit. Well, here's another creek. Not really a creek, it's just a little spring coming out of the water, or mountains. And I am taking advantage of this opportunity to make a little bit of water. Not like that, I'm having to filter my water. And I'm thinking I may switch this filter out. It was an advice point given to me by a friend that I promptly ignored because I said, well, I'm making water for 4 people or 2 people, so a 4-liter gravity filter would be great. And it is great if you have a really good water source and if you've got a little bit of time, because you have to get a little bit of water down in here and then switch ends and get this end down here higher and purge the air out of the system so the air bubbles back up into the dirty bag, and then eventually it'll really filter fast once it gets going, but it's just a matter of getting it cranked up and getting it going. And we bought Gavin a Sawyer Micro the last time we were in town, and it was a good purchase. I'm thinking I may have to just go that route. It's a lot lighter than this system. For something like this, it's a good lot faster. I am going to have to see if I can find some sort of a water bag that has the smart water size nozzle on the end of it so that I can fill it from the top. I don't love the little bladders that come with the smart system. They're hard to pack, and I just don't love those. And the only way to fill them is through the hose that's the size of a regular bottle cap. So I'll do some looking when we get into town today or tomorrow. It depends on what time we get there. But I probably will switch out my water filter system. But even in the time that we've been just sitting here, it's already filtered 1 liter. So it does go fast once you get it working. It's just there's a lot of pieces that have to get going in the picture. And it's just a little slower than what I would like to fill up on the trail like this. Speaking of the trail's going ahead. We got a nice, easy trail this afternoon, so far anyway. We've been going mostly downhill inside the valleys, and we've got a little bit of a view of the ridge out that way. Nothing phenomenal, but it's enough to keep me out here because I think it's beautiful. Oh, I didn't see more rocks up there. This is just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, just to give you some idea about what the day's like today, or at least the latter part of the day. That's the trail coming along through, right up through there. So we've been coming downhill and at a pretty good clip, making switchbacks, and it has been a very peaceful walk. Gavin went ahead of me when I stopped to get water earlier. He might be hiding in this cave right here. It's not really a cave, it's just some rocks, but I guess you could get under there out of the elements if it were storming. Although, actually they say that rocks are a bad place to be if you're in an electrical storm because they're grounded. If lightning hits, it's going to come through you. So, just a little bit of a lesson there. Keep on, whoa, stump. Keep on going down the trail before I fall here. Well, this is another one of those have to stop times because boy, that starts way up there. It sounds so nice coming down through the under the rhododendron. That would be a great place to fill up a water bottle if you needed to. It is just a gorgeous, gorgeous mountain stream headed right on down through there. And we're going to go across it, I hope. Let's see here. This is always fun picking out steps. I think that's a good one. Then I'm going to go to there. Whoa! Just kidding. I'm balanced, I think. And it pulls up a little bit down there and then just keeps right on going. The beauty of God's creation. It has turned out to be an absolutely gorgeous day for hiking. I have on the wrong shirt because I've got on a long sleeve shirt. And now we're starting to do some gentle climbing like that. Let me hold that flat. Okay, so you can see a little bit of the elevation here. It's not too bad. We just kind of came along this little flat section right here. And it is absolutely gorgeous out here. I do wish I had on a short sleeve shirt, but I know I'm going into town tonight and I'm doing laundry, and the short sleeve shirt's not dirty, but I am. So I'm kind of holding off switching out. Plus that would require me taking my pack off. And I really don't like to take my pack off when I'm hiking during the day unless I'm stopping for a meal or something. It just seems to slow me down. So we'll keep on plowing. Maybe push my sleeves up a little bit. These don't go up very far, but it's not too hot. It's a gorgeous day. Reached the peak of what we were climbing just a little bit ago. It's been a pretty good day of hiking. That uphill wasn't horrible. The grade was gradual, it was just long. And we got about 2 miles to get down to, attaboy, almost lost a pole. To get down to a shelter that we're not planning to stay at, but we'll pause and snack there for just a minute, and then it's 3 miles into town downhill. So the day has been absolutely gorgeous, as I've mentioned several times. The weather is truly phenomenal. I wish we had more days like this. I'm afraid we're going to get a little bit of rain in the coming week, but we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll pass us by. But I wanted to take just a couple minutes and show you that we did make it to the top, and now we're gradually, gently making it down the hill. Alrighty, here is Deer Park Shelter. It is a tiny shelter. There's room for only about 4 people, but there's a board missing, so that 4th person is not going to be terrifically comfortable. And we are not staying here tonight. We just came in to visit because we knew we had some friends here. And kind of look around the campsite here. There's plenty of tenting room, especially back here in the back. Of course, there is a bear hang up there, but you can get out of the way of that. And it's a nice little place, except for the fact that it's very, very small. So anyway, we're going to pack up and head our way on into town. We've got about not quite 3 miles to the hostel that we're hoping to stay with, and hopefully they'll have some room for us. Well, this is not something that we expected to see. This is like 3 steps off the trail, and there's a couple of grave sites here. Kind of interesting. We got this one over here. Zoom in a little bit on that. George Gregg, 1966. And this one's going to be a little harder to read, I think. 1940 is the date on that. Can't really get the name out. This right here, yeah, that's a footstone. Yeah, but when we zoomed in way in too tight for this, and there we go. Now it's letting me. Yeah, absent, not dead is the thing down there. I can make October, probably 1888. I wonder, these must be a husband and a wife would be my best guess, but it's kind of hard to say for sure. Interesting, very interesting. I don't think there's anything on the foot marker down there. No, I don't believe so. All right, back on trail. We're headed to town. Leaving out from the deer something or another, deer park something, I don't remember, shelter. We popped in there just for a few minutes to say hello to some friends. We saw Wednesday and Swiss Miss, and we have a little bit of an uphill climb to get over a hump, and then we're downhill into Hot Springs. So, every couple of steps you see the trail and you're wondering, okay, is that the top of the hump? Is that where it's going to tip? But it's not been too bad. Maybe this one right up here, maybe that's the one where it starts tipping downhill. Yeah, you don't ever know. But we'll get there before too long. 2 hours at the very most, I think, because we had about 2.9 miles to go, right at 3. We can do that certainly. I'd like to think in an hour and a half or in an hour and 45 minutes, but we'll see what happens. Especially if a lot of it's downhill, that speeds us up considerably to have gravity working with you. As long as it's not pulling you down over rocks and roots, in which case, I don't know whether I want gravity or not. But we'll see what happens. This may be the tipping point. We may be headed down the inside of this next little hill here, and not too far from being in Hot Springs. Well, this is where the trail has brought me right now. Rocks and moss, or lichen, and I'm betting I'll see a few things over to the right as soon as I get up here to the top of this. Just a few more feet. And I think, even though it's blocked out a little bit by the trees, I think there's a view here. A little bit. Nice day's hike today. We don't have too far to go. And we've seen a lot of nice things, but it's been mostly just kind of a pleasant walk down through the woods. And I'll take that. That was beautiful. Lots of streams, lots of rocks, lots of really nifty things to see and to look at. So we've been blessed to be out in the woods today. Alrighty, walking along right here, and we got lots of lichen covered rocks, and the trail is just gorgeous. And my mammal count is up to 2 now. Sorry, no bears. They have both been squirrels. I just saw a squirrel run down that log right there. I don't know whether you can see the log or not. It's beyond that rock that's shining in the middle. But yeah, that's my second mammal. Lots of birds. Even had a bird of prey of some sort this morning. I think it could have been a hawk. Don't know. Just kind of floating along overhead. But it has been a gorgeous trip today. Absolutely gorgeous. The trail hasn't been too hard, and we've got a little bit of a view of a ridge over here to our right. So that makes the end of the day a really nice one, huh? How about that? All right, continuing to plow along into town. I'm not really sure exactly what we're coming across here. That's a rhododendron tree. I know exactly what that is. I'm trying to get you a better view and I shouldn't have moved. But there is some water source down below us with some farms. I don't know whether that's an irrigation something or there's a little river. Looks too big to be irrigation. I think that's a river or a big stream, or yeah, it's kind of hard to say. I guess I probably should know that, but so we'll see it right in through there. There it is. And certainly we have some farm areas, farmhouses on either side of it. So I think that's our first little glance of civilization as we get closer to Hot Springs. We'll keep on going down the trail. Gonna head on the trail there, still seeing some water sources, and I guess Hot Springs would have to have water sources, duh. But I think what we're seeing there is probably residential areas and farming areas. We're still hiking in, and I think we've got a little ways yet to go. I'm gonna show you where we came from. Well, let's see. Okay, up there. The trail is centered right there, and it comes down and around and down and down, and there it is at my feet. And that's the kind of trail we've been dealing with for the last little bit. Oh, here comes Hawkeye. There he comes. So we're gonna get him to wave. There he is. Oh, jiggle. Alrighty, so we're continuing our trip on down, and we'll talk to you soon. So we're trying to decide if what we're seeing down here is Hot Springs proper. There we go, that's better. Or if we're just getting teased here. I can't really tell. That's certainly a school right there down below us. Don't remember seeing that in the map. I don't know whether this is town or if this is just the community around the town. So I guess that remains to be seen. Although that does look like a pretty mainish type street right there. We'll sort of see what we got going on. We'll see if we can find us a good place to stay tonight. We'll keep on meandering down the trail a bit. Shouldn't be too much farther. We are arriving in Hot Springs, North Carolina. We just passed a through hiker that's showing her mom around. She's going up trail a little ways. But yep, we've seen some things like this. And oh yeah, there's Carolina Mountain Club as well. They have done a bang-up job of maintaining the trail up the road here. And hats off to those guys, because we appreciate all that they've done. We're gonna go see if we can find us a place to stay here in town. Well, we have arrived in Hot Springs, North Carolina. This is one of the towns where the Appalachian Trail goes right down the sidewalk through town. And that's exactly what we're gonna do right now. We paused briefly at a hostel right back up the way there, but I'm hoping that we can find a hotel-ish kind of a room with 2 double beds. We can lay down in and spread out for a day or so. Oh, that's kind of cool. Appalachian Trail. It's kind of neat. This is definitely a trail town. They've got little banners up. You can see one on the post right up that way. Talking about, I think it says Trail Town. Kind of like Damascus. I think we're gonna find it to be about the same size as Damascus. And I think the hospitality will be as great. We're looking for a place where we can drop our packs and go eat. I think we're gonna probably eat before we shower. So the people in the restaurant are just gonna have to deal with us the way we are. And that's all good. So yeah, Hot Springs, it's an Appalachian Trail community. It's got a hiker in the AT logo. I guess I could have gotten closer to it. Uh-oh, now I can't zoom back. No, oh, sorry. Okay, I didn't mean to make you dizzy there. But yeah, Appalachian Trail community. And that's really awesome. So we're gonna walk on up the road just a bit and we'll talk to you soon.